Today we're going to discuss the most powerful group behind what you eat. And you might even think that they're like the top brands that you see in the grocery store, but they're not the real big players. There are actually 4 companies that control 90% of the grain trade. And I'm talking about products made from corn, soy, wheat, sugar, rice. You have to realize that these commodities make up like 68% of the average person's calories, at least in the United States. And this group is composed of 4 companies. They're kind of silent giants because a lot of people don't even know that they exist. They're the extremely powerful and influential middleman between the farmers, who they heavily control, as well as the other brands that you know about, like Nestle and Kellogg's, etc. And they have huge influence over commodities. Well, commodities are like a stock market for crops. I mean, I have a tiny bit of experience with commodities. I had no business going into the commodity market. There's still skid marks on the turnpike going right into Philadelphia. When my wife was driving with all these kids in the back seat, I thought that was the best time to tell her that, honey, I lost all of our savings in the commodities market. Well, she slammed on the brakes, and there was a little island of land right next to this major freeway that she pulled off of. She gets out of the car, she walks up and down this little piece of land. Let's just say she was extremely upset, and she had to let out some steam, and rightfully so. And the whole thing is very confusing. But these 4 companies have a huge influence on what those prices are set at. And they got themselves into a really good situation because $700 billion a year are spent on subsidies for commodities like corn, wheat, soybean. Now, there was a really interesting study in the American Journal of Agricultural Economics. If we're giving them $700 billion a year, that should allow us to buy this food for a lot cheaper. For every $1 of corn subsidy, the resulting decrease in corn prices only led to a 2 cents reduction. Wait a second, that's not fair. I just gave you $1 and I'm getting 2 cents back. Let's say you want to go buy a donut at the store and these donuts are $1, okay? So you go to the store, and what you might not realize is that you already spent $1.95 for that donut. And you didn't know it because it indirectly came through your paying for your taxes, and you bought the raw materials to make it. And then you spend your $1. So the total amount of money that you spent for that donut is $2.95. And then, of course, when you eat the donut, you eventually have health problems. So you have to go to the doctor and pay the doctor to fix your blood sugars, your high blood pressure, your high cholesterol, dementia, your heartburn. But thank goodness you have insurance, right? But the point is that these companies got themselves in a really good situation because a lot of the raw materials are paid for by you in advance. So the 4 companies, A, B, C, D, the first one is called Archer Daniels Midland, and then Bunge, and then Cargill, and then Louis Dreyfus. Those are the 4 companies that pretty much own the grain trade. They're the companies that supply 68% of your calories. And what's really wild is the junk food brands also own a lot of the organic and natural brands as well as pet food and the vitamin and supplement companies as well. Now, what's even more bizarre is if we kind of just lump together the 3 main ingredients in 99% of all junk food. We have starches, we have sugars, we have seed oils, right? And we know the sugars are there to sweeten something, and they're highly addictive, and they will keep you craving for more sweets the more you eat them, right? The seed oils originated long ago in the 1800s with cottonseed oil. They were trying to figure out what to do with this waste, and so they decided to use it as a fuel. And then they decided, well, let's just put it in the food supply. And that was the start of repurposing a waste product from something else. And then we have starches, right? What's the purpose of a starch? The purpose of a starch is to add bulk to the product. It's not even sweet, even though a starch is a chain of sugar. I mean, it's one thing to add a filler for a product to kind of bulk up so you can sell it at a cheaper amount, but it's another thing to sell a filler that can create more of a spike on the glycemic index than actual cane sugar by a factor of 185. So if we're comparing certain sugars to starches like cane sugar on the glycemic index, it's 65 for sugar. But then for maltodextrin, for example, that can go all the way up to 185. So think about what that's doing to your health. This so-called benign filler is creating major problems, and it's in so many foods. I started looking through ultra-processed foods to see how much of this starch was present. And I got numbers from anywhere between 35 to 60% of the calories were these starches. This video is really about increasing the awareness of who's really controlling the food supply. And so this entire system of subsidizing certain crops started during the Depression. They should have stopped it right there, but they kept going. And now we have a system that really does not benefit you because you're buying certain ingredients at the expense of your own health with other companies majorly benefiting from your tax dollars. So it might sound like there's nothing you can do, but there is something you can do. The market follows the demand, okay? That means the market follows what you buy. If you keep buying these products, this system will stay in existence forever. If you stop buying these products, you basically decrease the demand and the market will go in another direction. And so what I'm really trying to communicate is that you need to go on a low-carb, ketogenic diet, not just for your own health, but to influence this system, which I think is extremely corrupted. If you want to know exactly where to start, you can start by watching this video right here. Check it out. Hey, before you leave, I just wanted to give you a little quick history on some of the books that I wrote. This was one of the first books. It's called Dr. Berg Body Shapes. It was my attempt at writing about body types. What was very interesting about this book is I actually did all the images myself. Don't ask me why. They look actually not quite as professional as some of the images that I have in the new book. But anyway, this is my first attempt right here called Dr. Berg's Body Shape Diets. And then I wrote a book more extensive called The 7 Principles of Fat Burning. I don't even have a copy anymore, actually, because it's outdated. The next book, I put about 1,000 hours into this one right here called The New Body Type Guide. Major updates on the body types. I put a lot of energy into this. It has professional images, graphics, all sorts of things. Now, the problem with this book is it doesn't really describe what this is really about. Body types are only a small portion of what's in this book. And that's why I changed the name to the Healthy Keto Plan, okay? If you happen to have this book, you don't really need this book because there's only very, very minor updates. But if you don't have this, you need to get this one right here. This book goes into every single detail that you would ever want to know about. It goes into the 7 principles of fat burning. It goes into hormones, the body types, the basic keto plan. It goes into intermittent fasting. I talk about the 10 fat burning triggers and blockers and fat burning strategies with a lot of details in every single chapter. I go into body issues that interfere with losing weight. There's very few people that just have a weight problem. They have a lot of body issues, whether it's sleeping problems, stress problems, inflammation, menopause. I cover that extensively in this book. Then I talk about how to get rid of stress, and I show you a technique. Then I get into exercising. And then I have a lot of really good recipes in this book as well. So this is a good reference guide. On my website, if you get this book, you get this one free. It's called Healthy Keto Intermittent Fasting. This is the shortcut, quick guide to this book. And the reason I created this book is to have you, within 45 minutes, learn how to do keto, okay, in intermittent fasting, exactly what you need to do. Then you can fill in the blanks with this book right here. So right now I'm doing a special. If you get this book, you get this one totally free, or you can go to Amazon and get these individually. So I just want to clarify the difference between this book and this updated one right here. If you don't have this, you need to get this right here. That way you can get the exact correct information to do it healthily.